Hi everyone, welcome back to Rich's Garage. My track loader had a successful quick break-in run and well, shakedown run I guess is probably more appropriate, as you can see dirt on the tracks. So I just want to give everyone a quick impression as to what I found. So everything is working well. A couple of things that to follow up on the first video. The syringe that they give you to, at least the syringe that I got, to inject the hydraulic oil through the vent tube into the tank is the same diameter as the tube itself. So it was a little tedious. I had to hold the tube with a paper towel in my hand and then slowly inject it in, let the air go through. But it just took some time, but it wasn't that big of a deal. So if you have a smaller syringe or one of those fill bottles with the metal tube, like you'd get for lubricating a model, one of those would probably work better because you could put that into the tube and squeeze the oil in easier. After filling up the tank, I wouldn't cut the vent tube. It's good that it's that long. I just tucked it in. It makes it easier to fill. If you cut it, I could see it being a lot harder. With the length of that tube, you're able to get a couple of milliliters into the tube and then hold it straight up and let it gravity feed in. It makes it a lot easier. If you cut that short, it's going to be even a more time-consuming process to fill in. Then again, if I had a narrower syringe, it made it went quicker. Second, my hopes of putting this battery in the back is out the window. So I'm going to take the back cover off because I want to check for any hydraulic leaks or anything like that since I ran it. But this is a little bit too wide. It was tough to measure what the spacing was, and I'm like a 1/16 of an inch off. There's a little piece from the I think the heat sink on the speed controller that just tightens up that little space, so that's not going to work. But we'll take off the back and I'll show you what's going on there. So what I did was I just put it in the cab and plugged it in, and that worked for me. After I put the oil in, I did power this up. I did have one small leak, and it's pretty much my own fault. I didn't check all the fittings. I mean, it came from China. I should have checked them all. What I did check was I had checked these screws on everything, but I didn't check the fitting, the compression fitting here. And there was one that was a little. See, this one's a little bit. I got a little bit of oil here too. I got to snug this one up too. Underneath the valve that had leaked a little bit into. Towel here on the bottom, so I have to go around and check them, and that'll be that. And there definitely is a little bit of air still in the system when I articulate all the functions, but everything works. So that's the main thing. Now it's just as you run it, tightening things up and just a little debug, but. The other thing I had to change is when, on the other video, this function was plugged into channel 10. Let me show you the remote here. The remote comes, and everything worked here as well. This is a 10 function remote. This is the hydraulic pump. When it's up, it's on, the pump is on. When it's down, the pump is off. This is also a 2 position, but it's not used right now. When I put the lights in, it'll probably be, map it to this channel to put the lights on, the beacons on top, and then you have functions on the outsides here, right? So that's those two. And we'll fire it up, and I'll go through this, and you'll see what's going on. These are 3 position toggles, and when you first power this up, it asks you to put all the switches in the up position. I moved this to function for the ripper. I moved it to channel 6, and this actuates it. So what I do is you put these all up, power this up, move this to the middle position, plug in the unit, so the ripper doesn't move. It won't move anyway because the pump is off, but that's that. So I haven't, to be honest, I haven't even downloaded the manual on this to even look at it. It all worked, so at some point I'm sure I'll look at that and see how I can tweak maybe some of the features. You know, some people have their hydraulic RCs that once you activate a hydraulic function, then they'll have the pump come on. You know, they'll blend the channels, or you can just put the pump on all the time. So for right now, like I said, I gotta get some hours on this just to see what how it responds. Is there any things that bind or anything like that? So let's take the back cover off, and we'll take a quick look inside. Right, so it's only 2 screws, so I'm going to just do it in front of me here. I'm not, if you look on the unit, I'm not even putting in the plexiglass or anything like that. I'm just going to have fun with it for a while, make sure that everything's good, and then when mechanically I'm satisfied that it's dialed in, then I'll worry about all the little dress-up pieces. Okay, so that's that. Alright, so let's see if we have anything in here we don't like. Alright, so it appears that there might be a little residual oil down in there that I'll have to sort out. Maybe I gotta tighten up that fitting again, but the receiver is not wet, so that's good. I didn't get that much oil in there. But what I'm going to do is, I have a small battery, but this is 2S 7.4. This hard shell battery will fit in that space. So now what I wound up, a little bit more room so you can see what's going on. Right, so this is for a Viterra, a K5 Blazer. What I wound up getting was a watt meter that also shows amps and peak amps. And the reason for this is I wanted to plug this in line, run it outside under load, and see what my peak amperage is to see how small of a battery I can get. Because you know, here's a spec on what you can read that on the accuracy. So if you believe that, it's pretty accurate. When I had powered it up just on the bench, you have to solder. I put the EC3s I had because that's what my batteries are, my charger. And when I plugged this in line, I was just running it on here where there's no resistance, right? I'm not pushing any dirt or anything like that. It was only drawing like 6.8 amps. So I want to see what it pulls outside, and but it looks like, you know, with the pump running and the tracks running, I don't think I'm going to be anywhere near that 50 amps of the pump speed controller, and I don't know what these are for the tracks, but it looks like there's not much load there. So I'm going to clean this up, tighten everything up, and then you know, I'll probably take it out and do some more running, just to see if anything else comes of it. But just wanted to give you guys a quick look. What I can do is, even though it's spraying a little bit of oil, let's well, rather than fire it up now, let me clean it up, tighten everything, and then we'll do another video. This is probably a little bit longer anyway, this video now, and you'll see it in action. Alright everyone, take care.